Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of The Force of Flow. And Happy New Year 2026. My goodness, what a year it has been, and it's been way too long. Having said that, it's super strange to hear myself talking. I wish I had and made the time to talk to you earlier. But hopefully, in the year to come, that will be something I will remedy and get better at. Talking about getting better, I would like to spend this time with you looking back to move forward. And what I mean by that is about a year ago, I did the exact same thing. I looked at New Year's resolution versus an intention, and doing intentions was way more compassionate to myself than making a New Year's resolution, not sticking to it, becoming angry, and oh, it's not going to work anyway, and coming to the conclusion that it's all a lie. So I would like to stop lying. And I made the intention to be more authentic and balanced in my life, and also to be more mentally and physically strong. Have I been able to do that? I think yes. Even though I doubted that statement, did an activity that was recommended by Mel Robbins. I don't know if you guys know her, but she is a very well known figure. Showed up in my Instagram account, and she was actually taken aside by Devin Rodriguez, the famous artist who finds people and draws their portrait or paints them and is incredibly talented. But he took her aside and she started talking about her workbook. I believe it is the Best Year Workbook 2026. And in this workbook are a lot of activities, one of which was taking a look back at your year through the pictures that you've taken. And every month you can see what are the highs and what are the lows. And it is kind of crazy if you look at it, and I just looked at it for the positive aspect. There were more of those than the negative, even though it didn't feel much like that. And as you guys might remember, I picked up all the things in Germany, left the country to come to the Netherlands, where my husband got a new job, I got a new job, the kids went into a brand new school, we moved into a house, and have tried to get our footing in a new community, in the new surroundings. And this has been something that I have been very impatient about. And if I'm honest, at this point, I was more negative about this, seeing only the things that didn't go fast enough, didn't go right. People weren't doing their jobs. I was so critical that I started going down the rabbit hole of collecting instances and searching them out, so that I stayed on this negative energy levels 1 and 2, where I was the victim. I felt very hopeless. I was expressing resentment. I was disappointed. I was very stressed out, which had an impact also to my physical state. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I also found an activity in her workbook that had to do with stopping things, continuing things, and starting things. And lo and behold, that sounds like something familiar. And it triggered the retrospective themes that we often do at work with teams, or even with leadership, be it at any level. Just a very easy way of looking back at a certain amount of time and seeing what you did well and what you didn't do well, and learning from that, and proceeding with some sort of an action plan to do better. So I took this, I turned the order of it a little bit, and now I just like to do it for you. So this is a retrospective of my life in the last year. And And I'm going to start with what I want to stop. And as I mentioned, I really would like to stop concentrating on so much negativity. I know that it is part of life and that it happens and that it is out of my control, especially when it comes to people doing the right thing or the right activities going my way in a certain time frame. I need to let go of that. And I want to let go of that. And what I want to control are my emotions and actions when it comes to that. And spending more time in higher energy levels where it's either a win win, where I can flip the thought around and say, why is it happening for me instead of to me? And look at it with different eyes and be grateful for certain things within it, even if it is a learning experience, because as we all know, failure is part of life, first attempts in learning. And these are the ways to prevent these instances, I hope, from happening too often in the future, from learning about the past. So, part two is what do I want to continue? And after some soul searching and digging, I didn't have to dig too far. I decided I want to continue to show up as myself. And maybe you're curious, like, why is that a big deal? Because in the past years, probably the past 5 years, I don't know if I can say that I showed up as myself based on my surroundings or the certain environment I was in or the conditions that appeared to me. And for the last 5 months or so since being in the Netherlands, that is exactly the thing I have been able to do. And I am so grateful because it made a huge difference to be able to be kind and have that seen and to make promises that I can keep and to be authentic, which to me means helping others and collaborating with others. And yes, you can do things wonderfully by yourself, but what magic it is when you can have like minded people working with you to deliver something special. And also to ask tough questions. And that's important too. It's part of the job to be able to take that and make someone's job easier, for them to think outside the box, or perhaps give them the courage to look at it through different lenses. And speaking of courage, to be courageous enough to ask for help. I want to continue to do that because you can't always do it by yourself. You cannot always do it by yourself. And what an amazing discovery to have found people who don't make you justified, but who come and ride the wave with you, who are in that boat with you and support you. The third one, and the end, is what do I want to start? I want to be more selfish. And what that means, for those of you who are questioning why I mentioned that, I want to be more selfish in that I take time to be more physically strong. I have been able to, in the last year, to eat right. I have been able to drink enough water. I have, started taking long walks and been able to sustain that all the way through into my working life. So it has been being disciplined and following through and being able to do this to the point where it becomes muscle memory and not something forced or a chore. But now I need to go one more step and I need to push myself outside of my comfort zone. And I need to do more exercises for my body because walking won't make my whole body stronger. I want to be more fit. And this is then the last element that I want to focus on, so I don't also get bogged down with too many things that aren't sustainable. I want to create this balance in my life. And it doesn't hurt that this hopefully will show my kids that I too can be disciplined, that it won't always be easy, that I won't be consequent and I'll probably not do it every single day, but that I pick myself up and try again. That here too, I can be authentically me, but that at the end of the day, I will look at my journey and say, this is what is good for me and provides me with the right inspiration, the road that I want to go down this year. I'm curious to know from any of you guys if you want to share what your New Year's intention is, if you are setting yourself some sort of an action plan, and what those first steps could be of your journey this year. If you have any questions or comments, you have any concerns, I'd love to hear from you. Don't be shy. You can contact me anytime at theforceofflow@gmail.com. It's so good to speak to you guys, and I look forward to doing this more often. Take care until the next time. May the force of flow be with you. Bye-bye.